मैं ये सोच कर उसके दर से उठा
I
था
started with cinema
कि
in a film called Kim,
रोके
Rudyard
मुझे.
Kipling's novel, which was a British production and a UK production. And, I was sort of blessed to have three scenes with the almighty, great Sir Peter O'Toole.
The friend of all the world, remain so always. It is enough.
The only affair I had in life is with the camera.
Our guest today is an award winning director, but he's not just a director, he's also an actor and a screenwriter. In fact, most of us 90s kids have grown up watching him on the big screen, on our television screens. The guest today needs no introduction. He's none other than the multi talented Anant Mahadevan. So, welcome to the Rediff Podcast. We are so happy to have you in our studio here today.
Same here, pleasure being here.
Yeah. So, you have been in the industry for 4 decades, like it's very, to sit before you also, it's a privilege for us. And from what I read that, you were born in Thrissur in Kerala, but most of your work has been in Hindi and Marathi. How did this, this transition into the industry happen? Was it a conscious choice, or did you always want to be like an actor, director?
Well, I think I owe it to my parents who sort of, came to Mumbai, Bombay those days from Thrissur and set up house here and gave me the kind of education that, made me what I am today. And yes, I mean, what would one say? It wasn't certainly not, designed to be an artistic career for me. It was more of a scientific career because I always wanted to get into either medicine or research or a chemical laboratory. And of course, even I graduated in the sciences. It was physics, chemistry, biology. But like, these are the strange quirks of life, the ironies of life. When every year at school and college, during the annual Parents' Day, as they call it, you do a play, you know. So you actually end up doing 11 plays in school without,
Wow.
which is a rare thing when you're a kid, and without realizing that it was actually training you for something much ahead, the future. I was always fascinated by the arts. I was intrigued by the sciences, but fascinated by the arts. And I thought, a scientific education was very important because one has to proceed in a very scientific way, in a very systematic way, in a very time-bound way. But then if you apply these elements to the arts, then the arts become more meaningful, sensible, and not mindless like most of it is today. So somewhere the fusion happened, and I really do not know where the transition happened, but I guess it was a very generic, natural, organic thing. After I completed my graduation, I wanted to actually do something which sort of befitted the scientific knowledge that I had. I did not want to waste that, so I joined a company called Technical Press Publications, who published a journal called The Chemical Age of India. And I was editing, or rather sub-editing the articles that came in from several big companies like say Larsen and L&T or IPCL or wherever. And from there, somewhere I picked up an advertisement for an advertising agency which said, "Okay, those interested and proficient in cinema knowledge and copywriting, would you like to sing?" So I just applied on the spur of it. I got it, and there I was face to face with the very venerable VP Sathe, who was a right hand to Raj Kapoor, and I became a copywriter in Bombay Publicity. And that became the sugar bowl of the industry, because we did the advertising for almost all the films that were made, whether it was Gulshan Rai or Yash Chopra or Bashu Chatterjee or Bashu Bhattacharya or, Feroz Khan. Anyway, you name them, we did the publicity. So I got a chance to meet all these people. And then slowly my theatre started. I mean, it was a very logical progression. The transition was very, very It's supposed to be academic, the way we started, or say in a Montessori or kindergarten or primary, secondary, and then you go into your graduation. So it was theatre, Hindi theatre to begin with, English theatre to begin with. And then television started in 83, 84. And Sai Paranjpe saw me in one of the plays. So she cast me in Ados Pados. Then television started, Ghar Jamai and Sword of Tipu Sultan and so many others. And then of course cinema. It was the logical progression after that. Although it was very strange, I did not start with television. I started with cinema in a film called Kim, Rudyard Kipling's novel, which was a British production. It was a UK production. And, I was sort of blessed to have 3 scenes with the almighty, great Sir Peter O'Toole.
Wow.
A friend of all the world. Remain so always. It is enough.
So there I was sitting with him, performing in front of him. So the kind of baptism I had in acting, I think, was very, very, I would say, very blessed, yes.
But tell us about the first time you faced the camera. Were you nervous or like you were bindas?
I think it was a natural taking to the camera. I mean, I always say that the only affair I had in life is with the camera.
Wow.
So I love the camera, and although I'm not like I've been instructed to please face the camera, but then that looks a little unnatural, just talking to a camera. So, but I love the camera so much that there was a very funny incident on the sets of on the location of the Sword of Tipu Sultan. So somebody said that this guy is like, he catches the camera wherever you place it. So, we'll try and do something to make sure that he doesn't do it again. So there was this huge scene where there were an army and, there was an elephant and the camera was behind the elephant and I was here. So they said, this time there's no way the camera can get him or he can get the camera. And then they screamed action and the elephant lifted its trunk and it turned its trunk this way. So through that hole in the trunk, I caught the camera. And they were aghast when they saw the monitor. They said, this is not done. I mean, this is unbelievable. But then that is the affinity I have with the camera. I can spot it. I can get it anywhere, wherever it is. So I just love the camera so much that, that was probably what prompted me to take to photography also, still photography.
Yeah, and the other thing is you started, when you started with film and television, there were directors like Sai Paranjpe who launched you, Hrishikesh Mukherjee and Gulzar obviously, who started this whole trend of TV serials. And when you watch some of the TV serials that we see today, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I think you should read my book called Once Upon a Prime Time. It is a journey of 40 years of my life in Indian television. It has to be stressed here that the people who founded television, the founding fathers of so-called commercial television, sponsored television, were not executive producers. They were not, people who weren't qualified. They were filmmakers. They were filmmakers like Sai Paranjpe, like you mentioned, and Bashu Chatterjee, Hrishikesh Mukherjee, M.S. Satyu, Yash Chopra, the Raj Shrees. All of them had a great grounding in cinema, and they were all trying to explore this new medium which had to say a story or an episode in 20 minutes. Whilst they were exploring that medium, the filmmaker in them also came to the fore. The only thing is that they had to sort of adjust to a small screen. So a medium of wide lenses in cinema became a medium of close-ups on television. But it was very interesting to see them work on a 3-camera setup, which they were petrified of in cinema because of those days we used to use film, shoot on film. So, you can't afford even 1 camera and film, so 3 cameras is out of the question. So, when we were shooting with tape, those days we had the low band tape, which progressed to the high band tape, which progressed to the beta tape, which progressed to digi-beta, and then finally we come down to this little chip we have today, which is just put into a camera and we shoot. So I've seen that entire thing, and I've been fortunate to work with all these filmmakers who did television. So today, I mean, I'm sorry to say, that television doesn't exist anymore. You have a lot of channels and a lot of executives and a lot of people who call themselves creatives or creative directors. I don't understand the meaning of this. I mean, they sit on judgment on who are these people. I mean, I supposedly Mr. Hrishikesh Mukherjee was asked for his biodata at one point of time.
Wow.
So this is the kind of grounding they have, this is the kind of knowledge they have, this is the kind of history that they have not learnt, and they do not know why they are sitting on that chair is because of these founding fathers of television. So that's the tragedy of today's television. It was good till the start of the millennium, when up to 1999 we did weeklies, and then the so-called dailies came into the picture, and dailies were nothing like but one episode stretched into 5 days. What we used to pack into one episode of 23 minutes in a weekly, each scene was stretched beyond endurance to a point when you sort of you were extremely tired and pulling your hair in despair. And I mean, how much can you write for 5 episodes a week continuously for 2 years? I mean, even if you have a whole room of writers, it's not possible. So what you tend to do is stretch an episode. If he's climbing down the staircase, he will climb down so slowly that your 15 minutes will go down only in him climbing down. And of course, the audience is left to wonder where the soap is put on, so that when is he going to slip and fall. So if that is an episode, then I'm sorry, this is not the television that I became part of, a lot of people became part of, and are disillusioned today. Today, when I interviewed Sai Paranjpe for my book, she said, I don't think I'll be able to do television anymore, the kind of atmosphere that prevails today. So it's very, very disappointing, yes.
Okay, in terms atmosphere, also in terms of working conditions?
Yes, of course. I mean, we used to do an episode in 3 days. Now they do 3 episodes in 1 day. You start off at 9 in the morning, and then you go on endlessly till 2 or 3 in the morning the next day. And what you're doing is nothing but, there is no substance, there is no depth, there is nothing in it. You just have to say your lines. There are 4 cameras set up, and they cover a scene from every possible angle. If possible, they would probably put one inside your head and take it from your point of view also. So it's ridiculous what is happening today.
Right. See, you've acted with stars like Shah Rukh. You've played his father. Then you've played alongside Kamal Hassan and Papanasam. And that was basically, I'm sure you've seen the Malayalam version. So you're playing Siddique's role in
That's
Drishyam,
right, yeah.
from Drishyam.
I also did Vishwarupam too with him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So even S.J. Surya had once said this, that all superstars are great technicians and as actors. And basically what, like you said, they understand the camera, like you catch hold of the camera. That is something we don't give big stars credit for, And as a director, what is your take on that? Like you being a director and an actor.
See, I think they're all allied arts. I mean, from acting to writing to directing, from stage to television to films, and then sort of graduating into learning cinematography, learning the art of editing, because my films are edited on paper. If they get stolen, God forbid, it can actually be shot, because you actually know what to do, what shots to take, because I edit on paper. Of course, this I learned from Hrishikesh Mukherjee, because it was he who taught me. I used to sit down and watch him edit, and also fathom the reason behind why did he cut away to a close, why did he cut away to a wide, where did he put the reaction in, a silent reaction, where did he overlap a dialogue on another person. So all that I learned from him, and he was an ace editor, Rishida. So I was fortunate to learn that. So somewhere, it all came together. I don't really fancy acting in the films I direct, but when I direct, I decide to choose the subject, which is the most important thing, because unless you have a strong foundation, a plot, a subject, there's no point in sort of expending all your energies on making a film, because it really takes the life out of you.
Yeah, yeah.
So from the story point of view, from the casting point of view, which is very important, to locations, actors, costumes, properties, execution, making a schedule that would be beneficial to the producer and the budget. So it's a whole world that comes together. It's like a clock, you know, with all the gears working in unison and putting it all together. Because no individual is important in this process. It's all of them, the whole team together. So I think that's what, you know, it trained me from an actor to a director today. It was this entire journey of learning all the, you know, departments of what filmmaking is, whether as a performer or as a filmmaker.
Right. And I'm sure, you know, everyone who has met you has told you that, you know, your role in Khiladi was like a standout performance, at least for our generation, that the way you come up from the window, that that pose is like stuck in our, you know, memories. Why do you think directors are no longer casting you in roles like that? Like, you know.
See, I've never sort of, you know, got typeset in any image.
Yeah, true.
In fact, when Abbas-Mustan cast me in Khiladi, of course, I give them the credit entirely, because if someone has to remember a film 35, 40 years later and a part like that, then the credit goes totally to the writing and the directors here in this case. So, after the premiere of Khiladi at Satyam, we had it at Satyam Cinema, I remember. I came out and the entire cast was there, Shakti Kapoor and Aisha Jhulka, Deepak Tijori, Akshay Kumar, and of course Prem Chopra came up to me and he sort of, you know, punched me in the stomach and says, "Barkhurda, क्यों हमारे पेट में लात मार रहे हो?" I said, sir, don't have any such fears, don't entertain anything like that. I'm not here to make a career, you know, of a villain. I'd like to do different parts. And sure enough, I mean, the films that I got later, I mean, I did a very sympathetic father of Shah Rukh Khan in the same makers, Bazigar.
मैंने हमेशा तुम्हारा भला ही चाहा था, कभी पराया नहीं समझा, एक भाई की तरह रखा तुम्हें, और बदले में मुझे क्या मिला? धोखा?
And then I did a funny role in Badshah.
Right.
So, you know, I never got type. I was very, very, very particular about this, because otherwise you're a comedian, you're a villain, you're, you know, some kind of thing. No. You do not know. If you take Anant Mahadevan, face, you do not know. You can paint what you want on his face. One has to be a, you know, like they say, Kora Kagaz. Go ahead. This is the canvas. Do what you like to do.
That's, I think, the greatest gift that you also have, you know, as an actor, as an artist.
Yeah, one was fortunate, because otherwise you have very typical characteristic looks. They, you know, they say, okay, he suits only a negative part, or he suits a comic
stereotype,
part,
yeah.
or he suits one of those elderly father, brother characters. So nothing like that of that sort happened with me.
Right, and you are also not.
No, I wasn't keen to do it either. Yeah.
Okay, and everyone today, you know, talks about nepotism. You know, the advantage and the disadvantage. You too were an outsider when you entered the industry. Did you face any kind of struggle or challenge when you know, started making your career in films?
See, the nepotism thing is very debatable. I mean, why would a star's son not become an actor? I mean, if my friends, they said, what are you going to, when I asked them, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'll look after my dad's business. What are you going to go? Oh, my dad's a surgeon, I'll become a surgeon. So they're all following their dad's footsteps. So it all depends on how good you are, or how good as a, you know, an actor you are. Are you as good as your father? Are you better than your father or your parents or mother or whoever? So it's totally a personal thing. I don't. But the other part of this is like people like me. If you are not part of, like somebody said, he is not part, quote unquote, part of the fraternity. So if you want me to be part of the fraternity by sitting and whiling away time with you and discussing riff-raff stuff. If you want me to be a part, being part of you, having your, rave parties and drinks and drugs and all that, and if you want me to be a part of you by just sucking up to your this thing, I am not part of it. I am by myself, I am sorry. And if you want to boycott me because of that, and there have been instances, obvious instances, where they refuse to review my films. Not important enough kind of thing. They literally, they are prejudiced when they do review. They want to sort of, find more faults with it than a formula film. So I've been through this kind of, what would one say, total casteism in a sense, We talk about, no, we shouldn't have caste, creed, color, blah, blah. This is another kind of casteism that is happening in the film industry, where you hate the guts of a man because he does it all by himself. So that certainly, yes, I have faced this kind of prejudice and I'm still fighting it. I don't want to name the people who, who think that who the hell does he think he is, kind of thing. But I still continue, and I've been fortunate enough to get very kind people who have come on board, subscribed to my thoughts, and supplemented my films. And that's the way I'm surviving. So when people ask me, so how do you describe yourself? An actor, a director, a writer? I would say I describe myself, I'm a survivor.
Okay. So do you have friends in the industry?
No.
Oh.
I have working partners. Everyone who works with me is a professional friend, but there is no friend whom I call up at 3 o'clock.
I wanted to ask that. Do you have 3 a.m. friends?
No, I don't have any AM or PM friends. Yeah.
PM you clarified, you don't have.
So I don't have anyone. I'm all by myself. I love being the Lone Ranger, but it gives me a lot of time with myself, a lot of time to introspect, a lot of time to read, write, do what I want, to give my work a lot of thought.
Right.
And of course, when there is work, then you interact with people professionally. And I guess that way I have a lot of friends who I can say if I need to cast them, they come on board.
Who are those people, who will immediately say yes to you?
I mean, there are a lot of them. I mean, you have, say, a Pratik Gandhi or a Paresh Rawal or a Vinay Pathak, and so many of them. Yeah.
And you have worked with superstars like we mentioned, Shah Rukh, Amir, Kamal Hassan, and all the big stars. You've almost worked in different genres and different subjects, different languages, obviously. What have been some of the most fascinating, incidences you have had with these stars? Like things that you will remember, this incident.
See, working with all of them, it's a certain kind of transition of energies. And especially when it's a big actor, a known actor like say a Shah Rukh or a Kamal Hassan or a Mr. Bachchan or someone like that, you sometimes, you tend to sort of, how do you work out a certain this thing without feeling or being conscious of the person in front, totally disregarding him and getting into a character and doing it. So that's an exercise that you sometimes work out, You just have to be yourself, play your natural game, because all of them will give you some kind of a complex, which may be of your own creation. They wouldn't even want it, or they wouldn't even be consciously doing it. But sometimes you feel that, but then you finally enjoy the process. It's great to work with a Kamal Hassan, or Shah Rukh is bubbling with energy. So you imbibe some of that energy and you give it back in that way. There was a series called Basera, which I shot with Mahmood Saab. Now Mahmood is a legend.
Yeah.
And here was Anant the kid. So I was trying to play my own, be my own this natural game. And Mahmood Saab was, of course, slightly over the top in the way he does things. But I never subscribed to that, and I did it my way. So the director came and told me, Anant, look, he is here and you're here. If you don't come up here, you won't be seen, you won't be heard. So I had to actually tone up my performance
Yeah.
and bring it up to a certain level, at least match it in some way. If not, otherwise I didn't want it to be one subtle, one over the top, so it didn't match at all. So there have been cases like that when but at the same time when you do it in a very dramatic fashion. I remember a lesson that MS Satyu taught me for life when we did Kayar, Tari Shivashankaran Pillai's novel, the huge novel Kayar. We were shooting in the south in Kerala. So I think I must have gone a notch higher in the dramatic this thing. So he came and said, just do it naturally. Don't perform, And ever since that day, I have not been performing. Because those were golden words. I don't know where I shouldn't have lost it at that point. I should have just kept it the way I always believed in what performances were. And that's also the kind of performances I get from my cast when I direct them. I say, don't act. It's all there in the lines. It's all there in the words. You don't have to underline it. And that is where Indian cinema goes wrong all the time. Everyone is performing.
True. And let us talk about this film. I'm sure a lot of people have, also asked this to you before. This film, Ghunghat Ke Pat Khol, which was aired on Doordarshan Gold in 1999. But I'm sure a lot of people have not even seen the original film. In your opinion, how is it similar to Kiran Rao's Laapataa Ladies? And has Amir ever reached out to you, or the team has reached out to you?
Okay, I'll give you the history of this film, Ghunghat Ke Pat Khol. We were shooting a series called Chamatkar for Sony with Farooq Sheikh. And of course, it did a run of 130 or 40, 50 episodes and very successful, very popular. So once when we were sitting, we had a lot of character artists coming in and out of the series. And Satyan Kapoor Sahab was one of them. So we were sitting and chatting during lunchtime, and Satyan Kapoor Sahab was telling me, the time when we got married, I got married, and I did not have time from my shoots. I had to get back to Bombay at that point of time, Mumbai, and I went to the village, and my wife was in a Ghunghat, and of course I didn't have time to bother. I said we'll get to know each other after we get back. And we got married, and I left her at the bus. I had to return immediately. I left her at the bus station to go and find out about the time of the bus. When I came back, she was missing. And then suddenly I see her going in the distance with the porter who had picked up the trunk. Now she thought from under the Ghunghat that was her husband.
Oh shit, okay.
So I ran to her. This is what he said. I ran to her and got her back and said, look, it's me, not him. So
it's a true story.
Yeah, it is. Although a lot of people have said, this is Nauka Dubi and this is Rabindranath Tagore's Ghunghat and this. No, it's not. The origin was this, and that. Even the origin started only when Farooq Sheikh told me, Anant, do you see a story in this?
Oh.
Do you see a film in this? And suddenly it struck me, let me get a mass marriage done in a village. Let me get two guys going from the city, agreeing to get married to women who are in a Ghunghat because of certain traditions, because of certain values, blah, blah, blue, blue. Just because they wanted to please their parents. Okay, look, I've done everything against their wishes. Let me do something what they want. And at the railway station, when one man goes to pick up some snacks, the other guy comes and thinks that is the wife he has left behind, and he actually comes and tells, okay, I told you don't move from there, why did you move? And he takes her away. The other guy comes, finds the wife missing, but he sees her somewhere else, another girl in a Ghunghat, and they get mixed up. They get into the train. He tries desperately to look at his wife's face, which she doesn't. She even eats from under the Ghunghat. When they come to Bombay, into their house, that is when one of the friends who was there at the wedding says, okay, this is not the girl you got married to. And the husband thinks that the guy is joking. But then finally he realizes that that's not her name, that's not this, that's not that. And the girl breaks down. And he says, spare a thought for me, I've lost my wife too. And then the hunt for the two spouses in a city like Mumbai, which has lost its heart. Those days, of course, we did not have mobiles and internet and all that to quickly trace something that's missing or someone who's missing. The heartlessness of a city like Mumbai versus the dignity of the men who stood by women who were total strangers, you know, and how finally they find each other, and then there's a twist in the end.
Okay.
Now, can't be a coincidence that so many things are similar, right up to the small point where they look at the photograph and say, hey, let's see the photograph, then we'll know. And when they look at the photograph, she's in a Ghunghat. So, I just left it at, I said, okay, if someone can be, I mean, I don't want to use any words, but, well, if they're just, you know, care a damn attitude and refusing to acknowledge that they have seen the film, it was there on YouTube, and
was it pulled down? No.
Later on, it disappeared.
Yeah.
But then I got it back. Now it's there on YouTube.
Now it's there.
Now it's there on YouTube so that people can see the difference and the similarities. And then it gets selected for an Oscar entry from India. So I very, like, you know, tongue-in-cheek, I put a post on Facebook saying, finally my first film has got selected for an Oscar. Of course, no one got the humor. No one got back to me. I thought if I was wrong in making these kind of allegations, they would have got back to me and said, don't do this. This is defamation. You have no proof. Of course, I have no proof. So they didn't even get back to me. Probably they thought I was totally unimportant, or probably they thought, let's not, you know, pursue it further because that would mean getting into a quagmire of things. So I do not know what the reason is, but I'm very amused by this. A lot of people said, oh, you file a legal case. I said, no.
You don't want to pursue.
No, I'm not going to get into this. I just steer out of trouble because the world has come to a point where, surprisingly, you'll be shocked at the statement. You can never prove the other person wrong.
Very true. Very true. I also heard your interesting criticism about Stree 2. You said you didn't quite, you know, what was the point of the film?
No, it's not criticism. I mean, that's not my kind of cinema. I find it totally juvenile. I find it like a, you know, a play that, you know, we used to do in school, you know, just wear something and do something so juvenile that it doesn't make any sense. I thought it was going back to my school days. But probably I had, like, you know, come very far away from all this. The audiences till today, they are fascinated by this. They enjoy this kind of stuff. The kind of filmmakers, they are also very happy and very satisfied doing this. So fine. Let them do what they like to do. It's not my kind of cinema. Neither the kind that I would like to make, nor the kind that I'd like to watch.
But what are your thoughts, you know, these days films like Dhurandhar, Animal, you know, or KGF, which is dark and violent, they are the ones who are making 100 crores. Obviously, you've criticized the multiplex, you know, culture and, you know, how a certain kind of films, you know, get more marketing budget or whatever. But have you seen these films?
These are all overhyped films. I mean, they have
but
their
the
place.
trend of, you know, violent...
See, we used to have trends before, but they were very healthy trends. We used to enjoy Manmohan Desai films. We used to enjoy Nasir Hussain films. We used to enjoy Prakash Mehra's films. But at the same time, I used to step into the other side and watch Hrishikesh Mukherjee, Bashu Chatterjee, Bashu Bhattacharya, and, you know, Bimal Roy and the like. So, we used to balance it out, you know, sort of escapist entertainment along with, you know, something for the something cerebral. But not today, there is nothing cerebral. It's all this, nothing at all. And when it comes to that, then it becomes dangerous. I have nothing against mainstream cinema. I mean, I enjoy James Bond films, but James Bond has corrupted our cinema to the point that everything good should succeed, everything evil should be eliminated at any cost. So that becomes very crude, over the top, you know, a kind of pandering, playing to the gallery. And we being the country that we are, where most of the people are seeking entertainment in as defined as a comedy or something that, you know, sort of, you know, you go to hoot and shout about. That is, I mean, I thought Hitchcock was very entertaining. and it had none of these elements, you know. And we have to redefine entertainment here. What is the meaning of entertainment? Anything that keeps you sort of, you know, it keeps your attention going, anything that keeps you like sort of glued to the screen is entertainment. It need not be something which is very loud and crude and thoughtless.
Any interesting Malayalam films that you watched recently that really caught your eye?
See, the whole Malayalam brigade is trying to do something, but I feel they're all half-baked.
Acha.
You know, because why am I saying that? Because I have seen the great Malayalam films. I have seen Adur Gopalakrishnan. I have seen Shaji Karun. I mean, you take a film like Vanaprastham. I mean, where is the standard today? Or you take Elipatayam, or you take Tambu, Arvindan's Tambu, or Kanchana Sita. I mean, they were world beaters. Today they are all groping. They think they are trying to do something, but they're just being a little over smart and overstepping this thing, you know. Because you can make out that it's not really landing. The simplicity of an Adur Gopalakrishnan and the clarity of thought, or even M.T. Vasudevan Nayar's Nirmalayam. I mean, you take a film like that, it sort of, you know, tears your heart apart, the climax, when the Valachapad actually hits himself with the sword. You know, where is the kind of cinema today? So, Malayalam cinema today is again caught in a new kind of formula. It claims to be intelligent and claims to be different, good enough to keep the critics in a city like Mumbai totally fascinated. Oh, they're blown, this is the cinema. No, but that's not it. We have seen better, whether it's Bengali cinema, Marathi cinema, or Malayalam cinema, or even Kannada cinema, where Girish Kasravali's films were like, you know, landmarks. They're not the same anymore. I think we've left the best behind us.
Any interesting series or work that you've enjoyed in recent times? Movies or series or whatever?
Not the Indian ones. I mean, I have enjoyed a few, like Adolescence was very arresting, I thought. I mean, not because of the gimmick of the one-shot, one-episode thing, but because of the very thought process behind the whole thing. Although it was a little parochial for me because they just did it from the boys' point of view, the kids' point of view. They never got to the girls' side, you know. So, how do you know that that is the only point of view? But still, that was a great attempt, Adolescence. And series like that, of course, Chernobyl was good, Adolescence was good. So, I watch, I know, very selected kind of stuff, not every series that comes up on the digital
But
platforms.
do you think OTT has kind of bridged that space where, you know, the audience is free to decide what to watch?
First of all, tell me, what is this term called OTT? What does it mean? Tell me.
The other medium, obviously, you know.
No. What does OTT stand for? What does it stand for?
It's something that, you know, everyone, it is basically the
No, give me the full
accessibility,
form of
the
it.
whole access.
What is it abbreviation
Here
for?
I'm talking about the accessibility
No.
part.
What
of
is
it.
the abbreviation of OTT? What is it? What does it stand for? Come on, tell me. Be honest about it. I'll tell you. Although they call it over the top.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing could be more precise than calling it over the top entertainment, because it is over the top. So that's one term I totally detest. Call it a streaming channel.
Right.
Call it a digital channel. So what is it? It is nothing but what happened to all of us who started television in 83, 84. We were allotted 13 episodes. And if that did well, we went up to 26, which was season 2. And then if that did well, it went up to 39 and 52 and so on. We have already gone through this. This is not a new format. This is an age-old format that you have gone back to, because the kind of television that you were doing, those dailies, have fallen flat on their face and you can't stand them anymore. So you camouflage it, calling it mini-series of 8 episodes, and there's another season of another 8 episodes and another 8 episodes. We've done it all before. That's it.
Right. I'm so sorry, I didn't really want to, kind of, put you in a spot over there. But
No, the thing is that now I
Yeah.
no longer get into any spots.
Yeah.
It is literally Macbeth out, damn spot.
Right. You've been a member of the jury committee which selects movies for the, for the Academy Awards. Why do you think our films are not really getting, we do get mentioned in Toronto and other Cannes and other festivals. Why do our films not get a mention in the Cannes?
It's a very important question. I'd like to answer this in some detail because we think that we are deserving of international recognition. I'm not just saying restricting it to the Oscars, whether it's a Cannes or a Venice or a Berlin or any other important international festival. And we think that if we go by the yardstick of the award that a song won about 2 years back, an Indian song, then we should have won about 100 Oscars by now because Madan Mohan and Lata Mangeshkar and Rafi Saab and Kishore Kumar and Hemant Kumar have done much, much superior work, and that has all gone down the drain or gone unnoticed. So I don't think that what is deserving, a Satyajit Ray film has not been nominated for an Oscar from India till today. A Shaji Karun film has not been nominated, a Mrinal Sen film has not been. So what are we talking about? Do you even know? When I was told that I was supposed to be on the jury to select the film for the Academy Award, I said no, because this is, tell me which film is deserving. Secondly, they don't do it the way it's supposed to be done. So one of my friends said, if that is what you want to prove, go ahead and do it. So I joined the jury and I fought, and the best I could do was take Village Rock Stars out of the muck that came, and out of all the push that happened, all the recommendations that came through. But no, we unless we change our level of thinking, we think very pedestrian. Our language of cinema is actually alphabets. We still haven't learnt to make a sentence. Everything is overdone, everything is underlined, there is no subtlety. If you see the language of world cinema, there are hours of silences, and people can't bear it here. Oh, this is what's going on, They call it slow. Even the critics call it slow. I don't understand the meaning of the word slow. Are we all running around in this room? No, we are quietly talking. So would they say what we are doing is slow? That is life. So we have to change our thinking. We have to change the kind of subjects we decide on, the subjects we subscribe to for funding. Besides, of course, see, all these films that have gone are all hyped. They are all done on, I'm sorry to say, on some kind of high-profile platform, and people who know each other, recommendations, personal things, and all that. None of them have really gone to a point where you say, "Oh, this was a great film, and even though it did not get selected, it deserved to be there." No, we haven't. We had the Adur Gopalakrishnan and Satyajit Rays before, but now we do not have that kind of. So unless someone really comes up to me and says, "Okay, make the film that you will not be allowed to make," we are not going to get anywhere closer to the Oscars.
Any film that you thought was worth sending and which didn't really get a mention in recent times?
From India?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, they're all, most of them were goody, curate seg, whatever. But none of them complete enough to compete.
And in final, what if there's a lot of youngsters who are looking up to you as an inspiration? What are some of the books or material or anything that reference that you would like to suggest to young filmmakers?
I would say read. And most of our material comes from newspapers, news. Where do you think I got the idea for, say, a Gaur Hari Dastan? Or a Me Sindhutai Sabka. It was all from the newspapers. I read in a paper that a couple in Girgaon has applied to the President of India to legitimize, legalize active euthanasia. Not passive euthanasia, active euthanasia. When you're healthy, when you're absolutely fine, you decide when to go. I do not want to get into a place like a hospital and rob someone else of a bed which someone else wants, or get into a ventilator and spend the rest of my life in coma. So Aata Zhali, or It's Time to Go, it was totally from a newspaper story. Now I researched that, went into other things, the whole world. What does the world think about active euthanasia? Where is it legal? Like in Switzerland, it's legal. It's not legal in India. So we have this old couple, played by Dilip Prabhavalkar and Rohini Hattangadi, fighting to get active euthanasia legalized, and they don't succeed, because there are so many questions and answers to it, and riddles which cannot be answered. But they raise a point when even the youth saw that film. They said, "You've given us something to think about," especially after the entire the pandemic that happened, the COVID happened. Life and death are now looked upon in a very different perspective. It's not the same thing, So somewhere, as dignified a life you lead, you must also have a dignified exit. So that's what I got. So now you get these unusual things only by reading. Sometimes people ask me, where do you get these subjects from? I said, it's right there in front of you. But do you see the cinema in it? Or do you just see the news in it? So I would say read.
Wonderful, wonderful thoughts coming from someone, who's been in the industry for so long, and, it's a pleasure to just, listen to you speak and, give all these, pearls of wisdom, and
I don't know whether pearls or something. It's just experience. My experiences being shared.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are greater people having greater experiences, which I look forward to and try to learn from, because I'm still a student, and that's the reason I don't give advice to anyone.
Right.
If at all I give any advice, I give it to myself, because I need to learn, and I'm learning by the moment.
Is there an actor or director you want to collaborate with you haven't? I'm sure you've worked with everyone.
Oh yes, I mean, as an actor, I would like to work with several directors. I mean, I would like to work with a Majid Majidi or an Asghar Farhadi. They are the people who get the best out of you. Or as a director, yes, there are so many actors. Of course, I really want to work with Mohanlal or Mammootty or Fahad Fazil. They're interesting actors, and I've discovered, I haven't discovered, but Paresh Rawal's son Aditya Rawal is a brilliant actor. Wow. He's very aware, very educated. I've just finished a film with him, which I thoroughly enjoyed, called Past Tense. So I look for, like Hrishikesh Mukherjee once said, cast very correctly. He made a film called Anuradha. Anuradha had Balraj Sahni and Leela Naidu in the main roles. And the distributors turned around to him and said, "Ye koi heroine hai kya? Aap isko badlo." He said, "No, I'm not changing. This man, middle-aged man, is my leading man, my leading character, and Leela Naidu is my leading lady." The film went on to win the President's Gold Medal that year, which is actually the equivalent of the national awards in those days. So he always told me, cast correctly. So when I look for a particular cast in a particular film, I try and get interesting actors to work with. And I've been fortunate enough to, get them to do, because if you give them a script that they cannot refuse, like The Godfather said, then they will come on.
Thank you, Anantji, for having spent so much time with us and sharing your, great ideas, your thoughts, your journey with us. I hope we were kind to you in terms
Very
of,
kind.
yeah.
Very kind.
We didn't
Why
really.
would I be sitting here?
मैं ये सोच कर उसके दर से उठा था कि रोकेगी मुझको, मना लेगी मुझको, हवाओं में लहराता आता था दामन के दामन पकड़ कर बिठा लेगी मुझको, कदम में से अंदाज से उठ रहे थे कि आवाज देकर बुला लेगी मुझको.